everybody, welcome back. My name is Santina Doyle. I'm the host of Solo Female Van Life Lessons, not only on this YouTube channel, but also in person on Meetup on Wednesday evenings Eastern Time at 7 p.m. You're welcome to come and join us there on Meetup. We're a group of people who like to go camping, car camping primarily, together on the East Coast, up to Maine and all the way down, hopefully this year to parts further south. I'm also the host of a couple of other meetup groups, Nomad in-person meetups, which meets Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a group of people who also want to camp together, but we bring larger groups, nomadic groups together. So it's like a mini rubber tramp rendezvous on the East Coast. And then on Mondays at 7 p.m., we have East Coast Camping, which is a co-ed group. And again, go camping together. We make plans. It's more concierge camping, where the plans are made for everyone and they just come along and participate. So join us on Meetup if you would like to go camping with us. As I said in my last video, this will be a 4-part series on safety for solo female van life dwellers. And we have already talked about safety in terms of mechanical, car, or van safety in lesson number 3 on this YouTube channel. So go back and watch that video if you're interested in more of the mechanical things that you should safety check before you get on the road. Tonight is going to be a broader description of what kind of safety you can plan for, prepare for in terms of being on the road and mechanical safety, not just the mechanical checks that you can perform before you start driving, but also just in general, being safe on the road as a solo female. So let's go ahead and get started. So we talked about the safety check before you leave. I recommend doing this. You're going to check, for instance, the air in your tires. You don't have a flat or a slow leak. You're going to check your oil, that it's full. You're going to check your fluids, that you have washer fluid in case you're getting into a situation where you need to clean your windshield. You're going to do all those kinds of safety checks before you leave. I recommend it before you go on a long trip, and also the short ones too. Every time you go out to your vehicle to run to the grocery store, you should be looking at your vehicle to see if there's anything wrong with it. Do you see an oil leak or transmission fluid leak under your vehicle, that kind of thing. But check out that video if you want more details. But then there's also the safety of knowing that if you do have a breakdown, that you have the money to be able to not only get a tow if you need a tow, but also to fix your vehicle, that you have that financial stability. So one of the things that we talk in the in-person meetings on Solo Female Van Life Lessons on Wednesday nights is, do you have an emergency fund for repairs? And I strongly recommend this even over a AAA or some kind of company that can perform roadside assistance, because when you're paying those premiums for AAA or one of the other companies, those premiums are gone every month and you might never break down. But if you put the same amount, those premiums, into a safe savings account and you just save it up, then in a very short period of time, perhaps you will be prepared for just about any emergency, whether it's your engine blows up or your transmission goes out or there's an accident or you need tires. Actually, tires should not be an emergency. You should plan for those maintenance, the regular maintenance on a regular basis. Just sock some money away for that every month. The emergencies really are engine, transmission, accident, big problems. So strongly recommend, for peace of mind and feeling of safety for women, that we have an emergency fund. So something that a lot of women are not very comfortable with is when we're in a situation where we do need some kind of repairs or work on our vehicle, and the mechanic that we went to, perhaps because we're traveling, we don't know him, we can't know whether he's trustworthy or not. He's either not giving us details because we're a woman, or he's talking over our head, not explaining things, and we really don't know whether to trust what he's saying. So what I would recommend in that situation, to make sure that you don't have the wool pulled over your eyes, I know you're all intelligent women and you could learn this stuff if you were interested. Probably don't, like me, probably don't have very much interest in learning the mechanics of your car. But one thing we should probably do is rely on the men in our lives to give us advice and to be a sounding board for us. If we're talking to men on the phone when the mechanic is talking to us, then perhaps the man in our life, a friend, a brother, a father, can spot those people who are trying to pull one over on you, and can help us ask the right questions of the mechanic before they go forward and do the repair. So I would strongly recommend that if you don't have that kind of support system in your life currently, and some of us don't, that's fine. There are groups that you can get on Meetup, and you can meet virtually with them, and those men on those co-ed groups can become your support system. One that I can recommend to you is Home on Wheels Alliance. This is Bob Wells of Cheap RV Living's forum. It's part of his nonprofit organization, his 401c. Sue Ann Carlson, who's the executive director of HOWA, or Homes on Wheels Alliance, runs some of the meetings, and other people who volunteer run the meetings as well. You'll find these meetings on Meetup. It's just under the simple name Caravans, and they're all West Coast based, but it doesn't mean that we can't reach out to them for some advice or some help. There are plenty of guys on that forum that are very willing to help solo females, van lifers, and the men too, with any questions or even mechanical issues themselves. So I would strongly recommend you build a support group before you get out on the road. Know who you can call and rely on to give you some assistance in that area. Now, one of the other things that I think as women we should do is, because we never know if we're going to be able to camp in the exact spot that we've picked for ourselves in that particular night, always have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and perhaps even a plan D, because you never know if the rules of where you're planning to camp have changed and they've put up no parking overnight signs, or you checked out a review on iOverlander or freecampsites.net and the review was old and it's no longer available. On the road, things change frequently, and we need to be prepared and have that sense of safety that we can take care of ourselves. And by the way, women, we can take care of ourselves, okay? I guarantee you. You can build confidence in this lifestyle, and I strongly recommend that you get into an encouraging group with other women where we lift each other up and help each other and support each other to become the independent women that we want to be. So definitely plan to have the unexpected happen when it comes to where you're going to be camping overnight, and make sure you know what your next plan B, C, D is before you get into a situation where you're really tired, it's dark, you can't camp where you thought you were going to camp, and you're sitting there on your phone, maybe you don't have internet service, trying to figure out where you're going to go next. Do that up front, and you'll have the confidence and feel safe about being able to camp for the night where you've planned to camp. The other thing is that as solo females, we should probably let someone in our lives know where we are. Now, you could do this by location sharing with a loved one from your iPhone. I'm not sure about Androids, but I'm positive that they have something out there for Androids that allow you to share your GPS location with a person or several people who are interested. You can do it by phone calls, text, whatever it happens to be. Just let someone know where you are and how often you plan to check in with them. That way they know if you don't check in with them for a while, the general location where they can alert police to search. And then finally, make sure that you follow your gut whenever you're out and about, whether it be in a parking lot, coming from the grocery store and someone is following you or seems creepy or approaches you, or if you're camping and the campsite or the road or whatever you're camping on doesn't feel safe. When you first have that inkling of not feeling safe, just skedaddle. That's what you have a van for, so you can leave. And if you have a plan B, C, D, you can move on to that next destination that's not very far away and camp there instead. Just trust your gut instinct. It's going to serve you probably better than all the knowledge, all the applications in the world. And then when it does come to strangers, especially, no offense guys, but especially men, observe what your surrounding is, observe the situation you're in, always be really observant about the people around you, who is staring at you, who might be seeming inappropriate. Just really keep your eyes open. Don't get so focused on what you're doing, maybe it's grocery shopping or laundry or whatever it happens to be, that you lose sight of what's going on around you, so that you're always ready to react if something doesn't feel right. And if someone does approach you and it's an unwanted person who's approaching you, don't be that polite. Be very wary of men or strangers, even couples. Sometimes I've heard of situations where couples have perpetrated some really horrible things. So don't feel like you need to be polite to people, because you don't. And then just get out of that situation as fast as you can. And you know, if you need to, alert someone, the authorities or whomever, that that person is acting weird or did something that they shouldn't have. And finally, I guess I'll say one other thing about safety, and this is related back to the repairs from mechanics that perhaps are mechanics that we don't know. They didn't come recommended because we're on the road, we had a problem, we had to go to a mechanic shop somewhere, you know, far, far away from home. One of the things that I've seen recently is that mechanics will try to dupe women by performing repairs on things that have also been repaired fairly recently, and they'll charge you the money and they won't do anything. And so if you keep your receipts for your repair work in your glove box, then before you give that vehicle over to the mechanic, just pull those papers out and take them with you, and don't let that mechanic have access to them. Because if they do have access to them, they can see that you recently got a new ball joint or CV joint or boot or whatever it happens to be, and they decide that they're going to tell you that it was bad and charge you for it. They could snatch that receipt and you'd never be able to look up. You'll think to yourself, didn't I just have that done? I feel like I just paid for that repair. But they'll have taken that receipt and you won't ever know. So just keep those to yourself. And so that's all I can think about right now for female safety on the road in terms of mechanics, vehicle breakdowns, that kind of thing. Let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions or anything that's happened to you when you've been on the road as a solo female van life person. And please join us on Mondays at 7 p.m. for East Coast Camping on Meetup. Wednesdays for Solo Female Van Life Lessons, where we talk about how to learn how to do the solo female van life. And Thursdays at 7 p.m. as well for Nomad in-person meetups, where we can meet with other nomads, other nomadic groups. So I hope this finds you well, and happy camping.